Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me for my review of the 2004 film Shaun of the Dead, directed by Edgar Wright and starring Simon Pegg and Kate Ashfield. And I have to say, I had never seen Shaun of the Dead before, but I know its reputation overall is very good. A lot of people really like this film a lot. And I have to say, I did really enjoy this film, Shaun of the Dead, but I will say I didn't think it was a great film. I thought there were a few places where it was uneven, and not everything worked for me. But overall, I had a good time with this film. And Edgar Wright does deserve credit for making a unique film. I've seen a lot of other horror comedies, but I don't remember seeing a film ever quite like this one. And Shaun of the Dead does do some things very, very right. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, the plot of this movie is pretty simple, just like most zombie movies. Basically, a man is trying to put his life together or keep his life together, figure out where he's going. And when some zombies start popping up in the neighborhood, he and other people he knows and cares about have to fight to survive. So, pretty basic plot. One thing this film does that's very interesting is it's kind of unique in the fact there's no really focus on the zombies for like the first 30 minutes of this film. This movie's about an hour and 40 minutes, which is a good length. The pacing's pretty solid, but for the first 30 minutes, we only get hints of what's going on and a few shots of random zombies, but it works in this case. The film focuses on building the characters, and by the end of the film, I did care about most of the characters anyway and what was happening, so I thought the film was effective in that regard. The acting is good for the most part. Simon Pegg is very solid, as are the rest of the cast. The zombies themselves are only okay. It's not that important in a film like this that focuses on the human characters, but the zombies were okay, but nothing spectacular in my opinion. Another thing this film does really well is that it changes moods between horror and comedy very well. Sometimes it can be tricky to strike that balance, and I thought the film was pretty funny while still maintaining enough levels of horror to cause tension. There's also some surprising emotion in this film, which works at times. I'll talk about that more in a minute. Other times I didn't think it worked so well, but I do admit that I respect the filmmaker and the writers for trying to create emotion in a film like this. That's always appreciated. There are a few really funny scenes in this movie where I laughed pretty hard, especially one where the characters that are still alive, at least some of them, try and act like zombies, do impersonations, however you want to say it. I really thought this was a very good scene. Unfortunately, there's a few things that hold this movie back for me that others find to their satisfaction, but that I just had some issues with. This movie tries a little bit too hard for drama in places. Like I said, the comedy and the horror blend well, but there's a few dramatic scenes in this film, and they're just kind of strange in tone, and I'm not sure if they were supposed to be funny or if you were supposed to take them dramatically, but they didn't totally work for me, even though I see what they were going for. Also, a bigger issue, the soundtrack, while the songs are great, is a bit uneven the way they're used. I thought some of the songs really fit the scenes they were in. Other songs, it just felt like they were used because somebody that was involved in this movie liked them. I didn't think all the music necessarily fit the mood or scenes at all time. And another big problem with this movie for me is that others may like it, but I just found the end to be a little bit too ridiculous and silly for my liking. But overall, Shaun of the Dead is a solid horror film and definitely enjoyable, at least for a one-time watch, and I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. So overall, I do think Shaun of the Dead was solid, and I do recommend it. And as always, thank you very much for watching.